Hello, guys. Welcome to another edition of the 77%. Now, for those of you that have been paying attention to the page, you've probably heard about one of our new contents. It's called Homecoming. It's a content that really talks about young Africans in the diaspora that have returned to their home countries on the continent and are doing massive things in their individual countries. Now, the man behind that is Ras Mutabaruka, who you see with me now. Many thanks for your time, Ras Mutabaruka. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Eddy. Thank you for having me.
One thing also that struck me is that you want to rebrand Africa. Now, when you say that, what do you mean? What kind of brand does Africa have now that you feel needs rebranding?
Because of a narrative that has continued for hundreds of years about Africa and Africans, that we are just poor, that we're just hungry, that we are disease ridden, that we are corrupt, that we are not educated. And so this is the brand about Africa and Africans that I want to change in my work.
It's not as easy though as just changing or rebranding Africa. Why do you feel that films and say magazines or writings that it will change?
Branding involves multiple things, but one of the most efficient and easiest way of changing people's perception of oneself, of a place, of a thing is through stories. I give a perfect example is America. So America has been able to do that through Hollywood. I mean, everywhere you go in the world, America is grand, America is cool, America is free, America is prosperous. And how has the world been convinced through about that? Is through Hollywood, it's through movies, it's through entertainment, it's through music, it's through the stories that we've been fed about this utopia that is America for so long. And I think that through storytelling, through telling positive, diverse, different African stories, that we can actually change the way we are perceived. We can actually even change the way we perceive ourselves, because there's also still a stigma about us, from us, that we have to change.
Yeah. So this then takes us to Homecoming, which thank you very much is one of our new products on the 77%. With Homecoming, you letting young Africans who used to live abroad and have now returned home to tell the stories on the things that they are doing back home. Why is that important?
Very, very important. I think the African diaspora is such a key pillar of the continent and the continent's development. And one of the things that continues to lack is stories about the diaspora. Rarely do we see any stories about the diaspora, their experiences abroad, or their experiences when they get back. So with Homecoming, we wanted to show and put a spotlight on the stories and the experiences of young African youth. For this series, it's particularly all women that have made the jump and moved back to the continent to find themselves, to rebuild their homes, to rebuild their communities, to be part of the Africa that they want to see, instead of just sitting out there in the West complaining about Africa this, Africa that. These are young people who've taken it upon themselves to go back and find meaningful ways that they can join those who are at home to rebuild the continent.
My name is Tracy Boateng. I'm a mixologist. There's so many opportunities out here for us. We can make Africa better. We can make Ghana the place that people want to come and live. Like, Europe is already done. It's already there. This is the place. This is the growing country now. So yeah, you can just come back and make it out here.
I also don't want to create this perception that you cannot be of much value to your home country unless you travel abroad and return.
Not at all. That's a consistent and also false narrative that because I guess most of the successful people we see on the continent are probably people who are educated abroad or people who have some sort of links to the colonial countries. So we've kind of believed that that's the case. But when you look on the ground, the people who are the people who've started and run most industries, there most people actually who didn't even go to school. People who stayed in the local areas, found a problem and found a solution for that. Because also, if you leave and then, as we show in the series that we've done, when all these young people get back, they have a really hard time understanding how things move on the ground. So those who stay have an even bigger advantage of being able to of having a more awareness of the issues and the problems that exist and how to solve them. They have the networks, they have the understanding and knowledge. So yes, it's we don't have to aspire to leave the continent. It's okay to leave. As you know, the more you travel, the better you learn, the better you understand different things and ways of doing things. But we don't all have to leave to be successful.
Yeah, facing reality, I guess that's sometimes a bitter pill to swallow for some young Africans watching you and me. I'm talking to you from Germany, you're talking from Canada, but the reality is to try to have a bit of both worlds, isn't it? Because as you rightly said, some locals have done even more massive things for the countries that they represent. So what is the message that we're giving to the young folks now? Some who feel like there's nothing for me here, and I have to go out there before I can make it. And I even going through illegal routes, and some are losing their lives and all of that.
I think the message is that obviously I'm speaking from Canada, but I've recently made a permanent move back to Kenya. I think the message is that Africa is the future. Is that you you can find your purpose and your mission and your goal in life where you are. Yes, you can travel, you can go abroad. If you get an opportunity, take it, go study, come back. If you don't, that is fine. I think even with the whole concept of this series showing how hundreds of thousands of young Africans in the diaspora are choosing to leave everything behind to move back, it should be a reaffirmation of those at home that if all these people highly educated, one of the women we featured was working at the UN. She's a graduate of the London School of Economics. She had a very good policy job at the UN, but she kept hearing all her friends, most of them European and American friends, going to Kenya to find opportunities. And she was like, if all these people, foreigners, are going to my own country to find opportunities, there must be something there for me as well. I have to be part of that. So my message to young people across the continent is if you get an opportunity to go somewhere, go. But don't kill yourself or don't waste your time waiting for an opportunity to leave because opportunities are there. Africa is home of opportunities. I think that is my message to young people.
A message I couldn't have given better to go. I personally sense that there's a new wave blowing across the continent, and many young Africans are thinking like you these days. They are very particular about how people view them and their continent and where they're from. And I think this is definitely something we should all be involved. We all want to see Africa as a continent at the highest level of everything. So it's all hands on deck, really. And so, with that said, I'm looking forward to more of your content, more of the homecoming. I think we have a few episodes already, and you're going to give us more on the 77%. So, guys, watch out for more of homecoming episodes. Who knows? It could be someone you know that returned from wherever and is making the big mark. Great. Many thanks, Ras Mutabaruka, filmmaker and editor, helping tell the hidden stories about Africa to help rebrand the continent. Guys, thanks for tuning also. This has been another interactive edition of the 77%. Who knows the next time who we'll be talking to, but all those that we're talking to are all part of the 77% who are geared towards moving Africa as a continent in the right direction. Guys, don't forget on our YouTube page, let's go DW Africa and subscribe. And of course, our Facebook page, also DW Africa. Just be a part of this big growing family. Many thanks and catch you later.
Thank you, Eddy.
Thank you.